For today's video, I kind of just wanted to sit down and do my makeup. This video is more tutorial style where I am walking you through what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. But I've been liking doing these videos where I'm using a mixture of a few new products, but also a lot of old products as well and some older favorites. And so today I created this really gorgeous, soft, kind of classic eye look. Honestly, it turned out kind of bridal in my opinion, but I really wanted to use the Tati Beauty Textured Neutrals palette. So I used this 6-year-old palette on my eyeballs today, but you could really do this look using any kind of neutral palette that you already have. But I just wanted to dig up an old favorite today. And then for a few newer products, I have the new Jones Road gel liners that I tested for the first time, and also these new glittery lip balms from Get Stoned. So if you want to sit down, kind of do a full face of makeup together, I'm going to walk you through how I got this look. So let's get started. I went ahead and did my foundation off camera just because I'm not using anything too exciting. I actually used the NYX Bare With Me Concealer Serum as foundation. I actually finished one of these last year and I ended up repurchasing it because I liked it so much, and it really is such a beautiful, like, medium to full coverage concealer foundation. And I use this as a foundation because I don't like it as a concealer. And then I went ahead and added my NARS Soft Matte Concealer in the shade Vanilla just on any spots that were still peeking through that needed some extra coverage. I want to try out the Kosas eye brighteners again. I just used this in my most recent video and I need to test it more. So last time I used the more pinky shade. I don't know, would the peachy one work for me? This is the shade Illusion. And the pink one was very, very pigmented, so I don't think you need a lot of this product. I'm just gonna go kind of right there where that darkest part of my under eyes is. I'm thinking the peach might do some more color correcting versus brightening, so I'm gonna blend that out with my BK Beauty N14 brush. I guess I should have done one side at a time. Whoops. Yeah, I think it kind of got rid of that slight bluish tint I have right in here. Honestly, I should get my mom to try this product because she is very picky about her under eye, like, brighteners and concealers. In case you're wondering, she's 62, I think, and the Huda Beauty under eye corrector is her favorite. Okay, so that's what the peachy one looks like. I don't know, I'm still kind of indifferent about this product. I'm not like, oh my gosh, it's amazing, it's doing so much for me, but like, it's working. I'm just not blown away, but this is only the 3rd time I've used it on my face now. Applying my Rare Beauty eyeshadow primer so I can prime my eyes for the Tati Beauty palette. I'm honestly a little nervous to use the palette on my eyes today just because it's an old palette. I was watching my very first video with it yesterday. I think, was it 2020 when it came out? Or 2019? 2019. Dang! Oh my gosh, so this palette is 6 years old. That's crazy. Okay, I'm just priming my top eyelid for now. And then I like to set my primer with the translucent powder, so I'm using Huda Beauty Poundcake. Any translucent powder will do though. Okay, let's zoom in and dive into this palette. Here is what the palette looks like in case maybe you've forgotten about it, maybe you haven't seen this before, but this is no longer available. Tati Beauty actually isn't even a brand anymore, but some of us are hopeful that Tati Beauty might be coming back. I don't know. I had a comment months ago where I had someone ask if I could do a look using these more like vanilla shades in the palette, and I've just been thinking about that for so long. And then when I posted my recent eyeshadow palette declutter, again, a lot of people in the comments were like, can you use this palette? So that's what we're doing. I can tell you for sure I'm going to do something pretty neutral. I don't see myself dipping into the orangey shades or the purpley shades. I'm really going to stick with these 2 columns here. On a fluffy crease brush, I'm going to pick up both of these shades and I'm gonna run that throughout my entire crease. I'm interested to see how these shades actually perform too, just because again, they are pretty old. But honestly, whenever I've used an older palette, I really don't have any kind of issue with the formulas. People will ask me all the time, like, how long do I keep my palettes for? Like, when is it not safe to use them anymore? And honestly, I just say do whatever you're comfortable with. I know that some people will even kind of like wipe off the top layer of shadow if they're using an older palette just to get down to like a fresh layer of it. But honestly, I'm just kind of dipping into it as is. I picked up more of just the brown matte shade Soothe. This shade is a little bit warmer than I like nowadays when I'm putting, you know, just like a brown shade in my crease. I do like something a bit more cool toned. That's just my personal preference, but I can still totally make this work. So I'm just kind of building up my crease with this shade to get it nicely blended all throughout. I've even been liking taking my brown transition shade kind of right in this contour area of my nose, right below the front of my brow. I just like the little bit of shadow that it gives. Now I picked up a little bit more of that lighter shade Aura in the matte texture, and I'm just kind of blending around the edge of Soothe right below my brow. Okay, this is really softening out that Soothe shade, and that's kind of what I wanted because I wanted to do something a bit softer today. I'm actually headed to a friend's house for a game night tonight, so I'm about to have a full beat for game night, but That's fun. Now I'm taking a flat lid brush in the sequin texture of Aura. This shade is kind of tricky to show up on camera because it's one of those matte shades that have little glitters in it, which personally is one of my least favorite eyeshadow formulas, but I want to use it today. I just want to see how it looks if I just kind of lightly pack this all over my lid. I am going to do some layering on my lid today, but I kind of want to use this just to give it that kind of vanilla base. And I'm bringing this shade a little bit higher in my inner crease area just to kind of brighten up this spot. And then going back to my fluffy brush and just kind of blending it back and forth in the crease. So with this lighting, I don't think you can see the sparkles, but if I lower everything, you might be able to. It's so subtle. There you go. And this is nothing like the sparkly shades that I use nowadays. You know, think of like the Patrick Ta duos. This is not like that. Do not be mistaken. Yeah, it's so subtle, and I don't really know why brands do this. I'll never understand. But I know that some of you guys really do like this kind of formula. I'm gonna make sure I bring this Aura shade all the way to the outer part of my lid. I feel like I didn't bring it far enough out here. See how my whole like mobile lid area has Aura on it. I know for sure I'm not gonna use any of the glitter shades, but I do wanna use the metallic Aura shade, and I feel like it would work best with a little bit of some tackiness underneath it. So I'm gonna go in with my NYX glitter glue, and I just wanna tap some of that on the very center of my eyelid. So I picked up the metallic Aura, and let's see how this looks. Okay, I think the glitter primer was the right move. I love this kind of lighter lid look. Normally I would use this shade Aura like in my inner corner to highlight, but that's kind of fun just really brightening up the whole eyelid. And then going back to my fluffy crease brush and just doing a very soft blend in the crease. I don't have any additional product on this brush. I know this is such a simple look, but I'm loving how it looks so far. I went ahead and got my other eye caught up, but I actually want to jump around the face a little bit. I do my makeup in just a weird order sometimes. I want to jump back to face, do my blush, bronzer, and then I can use my concealer to kind of clean up these edges and then finish up the eyes, lower lash line and everything. And then I do have the new Jones Road little gel liners that I really want to play with today as well. I don't really know what blush I want to use today. I think I'm actually going to look in my drawers behind me and try to pull something I haven't used in a while because I really am trying to get into that more shop my stash kind of habit. Let's shop! I still need to do a declutter of this drawer. It's so overwhelming. I grabbed my little mini Rare Beauty blush in the shade Hope. I also have this Milani blush in Nude Kiss. That's a really good, just kind of like neutral. They're like the same color. Yeah, let's do Rare Beauty because I haven't used this one in a minute, and I just did a video where I was like talking about their liquid contours, so I'm in a Rare Beauty mood. Using my BK Beauty 116 brush to blend this out. This is such a good just pinky neutral shade of blush. It does lean a little bit warm, but I think that works for this look, especially since that brown shade in my crease is pretty warm. Like, this works perfectly. Such a pretty soft little wash of color. Then I'm gonna use my Makeup by Mario shaping stick in the shade Fair along my forehead up here. Same brush. Like, I've been talking about this product so much, but it really is such a good fair contour stick. Do a little here. I actually dropped mine the other day, so I have like a big dent in mine. Let's do concealer. I'm gonna use my Natasha Denona. And I'm gonna do a little line right here to kind of help clean up this edge of the shadow. And then using my same BK Beauty fluffy concealer brush. You guys know I love the shape of this brush so much. And being a little bit more precise once I get to this outer corner part. I'm kind of using the tip of the brush now. It doesn't have like a really prominent point to it. Now I'm gonna grab my Huda Beauty blush filter in the shade Cotton Candy. This was another favorite from 2024. Honestly, I think it was my favorite launch of 2024. I have lots of shades of this blush and I love it. But this is my most used shade and I use it to blend my blush into my concealer. But right now it just feels like there's kind of a stark difference where my concealer starts and my blush starts. So because this is a very light shade of pink, I kind of place it just right in the middle. Same brush I was just using and just kind of blend that out on this outer part. I'm kind of right on my cheekbone, honestly. Just adds like the softest amount of pink, a little bit of a glow right there, even though I'm gonna set it. To me, it's a very subtle difference, but I just prefer how this cheek looks compared to this one. I was gonna add a little bit on my nose. Now I want to set my entire face with powder, and instead of using my Huda Beauty pound cake, I want to use my Lunar Beauty powder. I haven't used this one in a while, but this was my favorite one kind of before I fell in love with the Huda Beauty one, so kind of want to revisit it. Honestly, it's been a minute since I've used it, so I'm just tapping out any concealer creases really quick. I just do one dip into the powder, get the sponge covered like that, and then I kind of tap off the puff on my hand just to get the powder more evenly distributed on the sponge. And let's set. Ugh, that still looks freaking beautiful though. I'm gonna set this area too. This powder really is so blurring and smoothing. Okay, my face is set. I am nice and matte now. I really wanted to set my whole face just because I am going to game night tonight, so I know I'm gonna be wearing my makeup for quite a bit of time. I am gonna add a touch of bronzer to my forehead. I'm gonna use the What's Up Beauty bronzer in the shade Light 10. It's another really good bronzer if you have fair skin. It's very, very subtle, but not orangey at all. And this is the BK Beauty 104 brush. I'm gonna add a little bit of bronzer around my cheek. Let's zoom in and finish up the eyes, and I want to play with these new Jones Road gel liners. For the lower lash line, I'm switching to a small crease brush with more of that Soothe matte shade, and I'm going to run that across my entire lower lash line. And I switched to this brush because that fluffy crease brush I was using would be way too large for the lower lash line. These shadows are working really well for being 6 years old, and this matte shade is actually pretty pigmented. I really only used a little bit of that. I really didn't pick up a lot of it, and it looks really good. Grabbing a tiny bit of the Aura matte shade and kind of blending right below the Soothe matte. So for the Jones Road liner, I have the black and brown. There's what they look like. I think I'm going to use the brown today because I want to do something a little bit softer. Then I'm going to use their Precision liner brush. This looks like a really nice shape, and I like that it's kind of shorter too. They claim that this liner is pigmented, glides on effortlessly, stays in place, water resistant, and transfer resistant, ideal for all day wear. We will see. I haven't used a gel liner like this in a pot in so long, but I think I'm going to start with just, I don't know, a little half wing maybe. Is really pigmented. I do love the precision of this and how I'm able to get so close to the lash line and just fill in like any of those little skin gaps. I'm just gonna like ever so slightly flick out whatever is left over. So I kind of brought it into a little bit of a wing shape, and I'm actually going to put some of the dark brown shadow on top of the wing. I don't want to build up the gel too much because I don't want it to look harsh. I really prefer a softer liner look, which is why I typically use shadow as eyeliner nowadays, just because it looks much softer. I'm going to take the Ritual matte shade on the same liner brush, and I'm going to use that to kind of finish my wing. I said I wasn't gonna do a wing, and now I have a full wing. Okay, at least it's a good looking wing though, and it's a pretty thin wing. Like, this looks really nice. I'm gonna grab a white highlighter for my inner corner. I needed something even lighter than Aura to put in my inner corner to highlight, so that's why I'm grabbing this one. And I haven't used my Rare Beauty highlighters in a minute too. I'm gonna pop my Makeup Forever eyeliner in Nude Bisque on my waterline. And then I'm taking a tiny bit of that darker brown Ritual matte shade on a flat, stiff brush like this, and I'm just gonna run that along the base of my lower lashes to add some depth. And then just taking my small crease brush with whatever is left over on it to kind of soften that out. I went ahead and popped on my lashes, and for my lashes, I'm wearing my brand, the Bright Lashes, and the half lash flutter that is finally back in stock now. This is personally one of my favorite lashes. It is also my best seller. I did cut a tiny little chunk off the outer corner of the lash to make it even more of a true half lash, where it's really just sitting on the very outer part of my eye. But I think this lash is so pretty. It is one of my favorites. As I was finishing up the eyes, I realized this is totally giving me bridal vibes right now. It's a really pretty soft but elegant kind of classic eye look, and you could do this look with so many different palettes. I literally used a brown, a nude shade, and a dark brown. But I wanted to add a little bit of glow back to my cheeks, so I wanted to try that Milani Nude Kiss blush just on a sponge, just kind of dab that on my cheek, see if I can bring back some of this balminess. Almost kind of doing like the Patrick Ta technique, where you just put a little bit of cream blush on top of everything. It's gotta be very, very careful and make sure you don't like press too hard, or else it could disrupt the makeup underneath. Ooh, I like that. See, that just kind of brought some life back to that cheek. The lash product I'm so excited to try out today is new from Get Stoned, which is that brand that makes this palette that I cannot stop raving about. They came out with this Glit Balm. Pretty much it is a glittery lip balm that's supposed to be like super hydrating, feel very nourishing on the lips, but have such a gorgeous sparkle. I believe she came out with 5 shades. I did buy this one myself. It is the more neutral shade Throb. Then Meg saw that I placed an order and sent me the other shades for free, but this is the only one I want to try out today. I might do kind of like a lip swatching video for shorts. I don't know, we'll see. It really glides right on. I lowered my lighting, but I hope you can just see like all the colors in that. This is all makeup on my hand, by the way. It's not dirty, it's makeup. But I think I just want to apply this on my lips as is and then apply liner if needed. Like, this is a statement kind of lip product. I'm gonna tap it out. Wow, it is so glittery. So again, this one is Throb, the more neutral shade. There is a little bit of a warm undertone to it, but again, that goes with my look today since my look is pulling a little bit more on the warm side. But I really hope you guys can see that glitter. So cool. That glided on it really nicely. It's not feeling goopy on my lips at all. I'm not having any of that throat burn. It's not plumping, by the way, too. It's really just there for that glitter effect, but it feels very comfortable on the lips too. But I'm just excited to see them branching out into more cosmetic products. I'm gonna add a little bit of my Makeup by Mario smoky pink liner just around the edges of my lips. All right, but that is the final look. I just kind of went for a soft, neutral, warm leaning look today. Again, it is very bridal, isn't it? But I'm really happy with how this look turned out. I'm really happy I got to dive into the Tati Beauty palette again today, and the shadows performed totally fine for me, even for being 6 years old. I'll let you know if I get any eye infections or irritations, but I think I'll be good. As always, I'm gonna list and link all the products I used today down below in the description box, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.